In the audience, thank you so much for joining in. We'll be starting in a couple of minutes. The speaker panel is still joining in, so please allow us a couple more minutes and we'll be starting soon. Good evening, all the participants who've joined in the last minute or so. Allow us a couple more minutes. We'll be starting soon. Just wanted to say a hi to ensure that all of you can hear us. Uh, we'll be starting in a minute. Professor Sharad, just a quick check-in. We have everyone from the Great Learning and EO team. I think from CSE, Professor Varsha is yet to join. So request you to check once.
Yes, I think you should get started. She's having some difficulty, but I think she'll join in, so we shouldn't keep people waiting.
Okay, sure. Okay, then we'll get started. So good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining in. And we are quite excited to, talk about one of the newest EPG diplomas, which is Computer Science and Engineering. And we are very, very excited to talk about the program, what it entails, what the structure will be, and we'll hear from the faculty as well. So with that, I extend a very, very warm welcome to all of you and look forward to knowing more about the program. And I'm sure this will be a fantastic experience for you as well, and all of you are equally excited to know more about it. Just a couple of ground rules. So do you have a Q&A window that is available? So please use that for sharing your queries. And we will have a Q&A section, a dedicated Q&A section towards the end. So would request you all to listen in patiently on a couple of things, because you might have queries, but it's likely that they might be answered as we move across the presentation. So would request you to use the Q&A section towards the end appropriately and put your questions in the Q&A window so that we can take them as they come. With that, we will kick off today's webinar. Uh, First of all, let me introduce the speaker panel to you all. Today we are joined by the esteemed faculty members from IIT Bombay, Professor Usha, who's the Dean of Educational Outreach. Welcome, Professor Usha, to the webinar. I look forward to hearing from you. Uh, Professor Varsha, who's the head of Department of Computer Science and Engineering, who will be joining us soon. We also have faculty members from Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Professor Sanyal, Professor Kameshwari, Professor Sudarshan, Professor Sharad. So welcome all the faculty members to today's webinar. And we look forward to hearing from you all about the program and about the different courses that it entails and what to expect. So welcome to today's session and thank you so much for joining. Moving on, we also have Harish Subramaniam joining us from Great Learning. Harish is the vice president with the Great Learning team, and works on various leads the academic delivery for multiple programs and also the new product development. Welcome, Harish, to the webinar. And myself, my name is Mohit. I'm a general manager with Great Learning, and I also look after multiple aspects of programs. And you'll be interacting all the candidates of the program will be interacting with my team on a lot of non-academic aspects, and we'll talk about it as and when we come to those particular sections of the webinar. With that, we'll kick it off, and we would like to first invite Professor Usha to talk about educational outreach, what the office entails, what's the larger goal, key focus areas, and the programs and the courses offered. Professor Usha, over to you.
Thank you, Mohit. Good evening to all of you. On behalf of IIT Bombay, let me welcome all of you to this webinar of ePGD in Computer Science and Engineering. Educational outreach at IIT Bombay aims to provide access to high-quality IIT Bombay education to a larger audience with a mission to provide access to education globally. The other focus areas are in designing industry-relevant programs for working professionals, offering rigorous and diverse upskilling opportunities for professionals across industries, academia, and governance. Also, we currently offer a diverse range of courses and programs. One is the one which few people have assembled for, which is e-Postgraduate Diploma. Other programs include continuing education programs in various emerging topics. We offer both as open courses as well as tailored in-house courses for organizations as well as academic institutions. We also offer programs for our own alumni to upskill them on emerging topics. Further, NPTEL courses are being offered through SWAYAM platform. NPTEL is a joint venture of IITs and IISc, providing the world's largest online repository of courses in engineering, basic sciences, humanities and social sciences, management, design, etc. Now, coming to ePGD, this is a very flexible program. It's made up of a stack of courses which one has to do to be eligible for ePGD. Interesting characteristics of this ePGD are, it's designed and delivered by IIT Bombay faculty. It's an online 6-course curriculum designed for both working professionals as well as fresh graduates. And one can earn IIT Bombay credits, which can be saved in the academic bank of credits, which we call as ABC. Once somebody finishes this program, then you're eligible for an in-person graduation at IIT Bombay campus, and also for alumni status meant for online education. Also, access to IIT Bombay's lateral hiring group is provided. What does this mean? You'll have the option to add your email ID to this informal group to receive updates on employment opportunities from recruiting companies. So with this introduction about educational outreach, let me pass this on to Professor Varsha, if she's around, to give an intro about ePGD specifically in CSE. Thank you.
Mohit, is Professor Varsha there on the call? If she's
I think
not,
Professor Varsha has not joined yet. So I think, yeah.
Maybe I can fill in right now.
Sure.
On this ePGD in computer science and engineering. Good evening, everybody. I'm Sharad Chandran. I'm a faculty member in the computer science department. I've been here for about 30 plus years. And today we are very excited about the ePGD program in computer science and engineering. All of you know that CSE program is something in IIT Bombay, something that is sought after, and we figured that it's high time that we open up some of the courses that are already available to a much larger audience. So the program is meant for motivated, technically adept individuals. Now, there are a whole bunch of programs in computer science and engineering. Of course, as you know, artificial intelligence is part of computer science. Machine intelligence is part of computer science. Machine learning is part of computer science. I just see that Professor Varsha Apte has joined, and also somebody is saying that my voice is too low. So Professor Varsha, we just started. Would you be able to continue at this point? We just started about the slide about ePGD.
So she will be able to join in 2 minutes. She has joined as an attendee. I'm making her a panelist.
Okay, so while she's getting organized, so I think one of the questions in the mind is for many of you here is like, why IIT Bombay? And there are many programs, and we've really put our heads together and come up with a program with a target audience in mind. And I think Professor Varsha can just, whenever she's ready, can continue this particular slide.
Am I audible?
Yes, Professor Varsha.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Sorry about the technical glitch. Yeah, so I can continue from where Professor Sharath has left off. I suppose he was going through what is ePGD for. We are expecting largely working professionals who want to basically go deep into whatever it is that they have been working on in IT, in computer science. ePGD, we are viewing really as a program where you can learn foundations and go into the depth of the practice of computer science. So software developers, data scientists, IT professionals, and people who are already engaged in the practice of computer science, you can look to basically upskill yourself, go deep into various concepts. However, it is equally accessible to fresh graduates also. If you are basically looking to learn deeper, go deeper into subjects, into more advanced subjects over and above your undergraduate background. Yeah, next slide. As Professor Usha already mentioned, the IIT Bombay ePGD programs are basically designed and developed and delivered by our faculty members. So all our courses are going to be delivered by our faculty members. We're going to have a nice mix of live lectures, online but live, where you can interact with the faculty members, with the instructor, ask them questions, doubts. Also, learn by questions that your other peers are asking. So there'll be some peer learning there. And you also will actually come to campus once at least for giving the exams. That is the time when you can meet the faculty members. And of course, you're also going to come here for the graduation ceremony. That's what we will do here. About the academic credits and so on, I believe we already talked about. And there'll also be a personalized program manager who will actually help you through your learning journey in this program. Next slide. We would also like to take the chance to emphasize what it is not. Just like what it is, it's important to know why, dispel any myths about this program. So it's not a superficial sort of skills program. For example, we have tools and languages, of course, that we will cover in the program. But the intent there is to teach you the principles. If we use a tool, it will be to demonstrate some principles, and the intent will be that once you learn the foundations, the principles, you are able to apply it to tools as they change over time, over years. Technologies develop. You will be able to keep up with those also. So it will not be the language or the tool that you learn, but not only the language and the tool that you learn, but the foundations. It's also not like just like an advanced undergraduate program. We very much expect that you will have covered the undergraduate background that we need. I think every program, every course has had the syllabus and some kind of a registration exam, enrollment exam that it will have, which will be able to tell you what are the prerequisites that we need for that course. So we will need a sound undergraduate background. It's at the other end of the spectrum. It is also not for executives who are needing a sort of high level, policy level, impact level, strategy, business level understanding of some technology. Those are also very interesting, intense courses, but with a very different focus. This is not that. It's not a short-term boot camp. Also, it's a long haul, 6 courses over 1 year or more. typically you may not be able to finish it in 1 year. So, a serious commitment is going to be required. It's not like a short-term intense thing, but a sustained commitment over at least 1 year. And the last point says the same thing. Serious commitment, good amount of hours per week are going to be required. Yeah, next slide. The academic structure, the Dean already talked about it in a general sense. Of course, we are sticking to the overall academic structure of the institute for ePGD. So you do have to do 6 courses. However, we have an interesting combination of breadth and depth requirement. So you see the course baskets there, the theory and practice of advanced programming, computing systems, and artificial intelligence and machine learning. They are also going to be labeled A, B, C, as you will see ahead. So the theory and practice of programming, most of the courses there are about the practice. However, you see algorithms and complexity, which you can think of as the theory of writing efficient programs. Then there is computing systems. We will, of course, go into details of this a little later. And there is AI and ML. 3 courses in each bucket. So you can see that although you have to do 6 courses, you have a choice of 9 courses. It is again not any 6 out of these 9. It is going to be 1 in each of these baskets. And then the remaining 3 you can use, you can take from any of these. So if you want to have everything in systems or everything in AIML or all the 3 in the programming basket, that's also fine. Or you want to continue to spread the 3 on in all the 3 baskets, that's also fine. 1 in each basket, 3 your choice. Yeah, next slide. Yeah, so the delivery timeline for this, as I said, if there is somebody really with a lot of free time, full commitment to this, then we are actually operating in the mode of 3 terms in 1 year, roughly around 3.5 months duration. And 1 course from each basket is being offered in each of these terms. You can see A1, B1, C1, A2, B2, C2, A3, B3, C3. And at a minimum, if somebody has a lot of time and super committed, they can actually finish in 1 year. It's not likely not possible for working professionals. But June to September will be first term. September to December will be the second term. And January to April will be the third term, with the spread of each of the courses from each of the baskets. So over to my colleagues for the rest of the slides. Thank you.
Thanks, Professor Varsha. I think Professor Sudarshan, before we move on to the curriculum, I think I would like to invite you to talk about the goals of the ePGD.
Thank you, Mohit. So I want to give a slightly broader picture of what we in IIT are trying to do with this ePGD program across departments. So if you see today, India has a large number of undergrad programs, large output of undergrads in various engineering branches, and particularly in computer science and IT. We are also in a situation where, if you look at the technology world, we had the US sort of in the lead. We have China now, which has been racing and catching up to the US. And then we have India, and there's a lot of stuff happening in India. But our vision is that we should be doing as well as US or China in some years' time. And part of the ability to do this in high-tech areas is to have a skilled workforce. And particularly in computer science, we believe that the number of students who are doing advanced courses, masters and PhD, is too small compared to the needs of a country of the size of India. And we believe that this ePGD program is one step towards solving that problem. We want to reach out and offer our advanced courses and help to skill India at the most advanced level, at the postgraduate level. And over time, we hope to expand the number of courses that we offer so that we can cover more areas and help India basically compete with the best in the world and set up the infrastructure in terms of a workforce which is educated and knows how to carry out research. So part of what we will be doing in many of our courses is expose you to advanced research, which is the next step, which is needed to innovate in this world. So that is sort of the broad goal. And we hope that many of you will join us in this journey to not only complete this ePGD, but perhaps to continue on to do masters or PhD in the long run, and to help take India forward in the technology area.
Darshan, if I can add to what you said, if I may. Yeah. So, Professor Sudarshan has outlined, following up with Professor Varsha, the general idea. I just want to pitch in here that in these days of LLMs and co-pilots and things of that nature, it's not just a good idea. It will be important for you to actually learn the fundamentals. So it's not just, just something that it would be nice to do. It will become essential. And it's almost like a pain point for you if you don't do this. Yeah, please go ahead, Sudarshan.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Sharath. The academic delivery timeline, maybe I will just go ahead and cover that. We have 3 terms, which you are seeing here. The first is June to September 25. The second is later in September to December 25. And the third one is January to April 2026. And if you see the courses on offer, as Professor Varsha explained, there are 3 baskets. The first one is the theory and practice of advanced programming. That is the A1, A2, A3 set of courses. Then the second is the systems, computing systems. That's B1, B2, B3. And the third is AI and ML. That is C1, C2, C3. And we will be describing these courses in more detail. But the first term, which is June to September, you will see that there are 3 courses. The Program Developers Toolbox, which Professor Sanyal, if he has joined, will tell you a little bit more about. Cryptography and Network Security, which Professor Kameshwari, who is teaching it, will tell you a bit more about. And finally, Foundational Mathematics for Data Science, which Professor Sharath will tell you more about. And then we have the baskets in the subsequent semesters. Can you go to the next slide, please? Yeah, in the first basket, theory and practice of advanced programming, as I already told you, the Program Developers Toolbox, Professor Sanyal will tell you more about it. But there are 2 more courses in the next 2 semesters. One is on algorithms and complexity. So this course, the ePGD, is not just a skills course, but it is to cover the fundamental concepts which are important to do more advanced things in future. And algorithms and complexity is a very important part of this. And the third course in this basket is web and software security. As many of you may be aware, security is a huge issue in the real world today. We are facing attacks from all over the world, from individuals, from criminal organizations, to nation states which would love to see, especially companies and government sites in India attacked. So how to protect against this and protect at the level of different levels, whether it is web, whether it is network and software in general. So these are covered in in 2 courses. And the one which is in the programming basket is the web and software security, which is going to be offered in the 3rd term, which is January 2026 onwards. Professor Sanyal here.
I think Professor Sanyal is not able to join at this point, is what I got a message. Maybe we can just continue, see if he can join in a little bit later.
Or I can.
Any questions about any particular course that is not addressed in today's webinar? Please feel free to write in the links provided and somebody will definitely get back to you. So Mohit, maybe we can change, turn over to part B.
Yes. I think for this, I'd like to invite Professor Kameshwari, if she's joined. Yes, Professor Kameshwari is here.
Hello, everyone. Warm welcome. So this vertical, again, is a very important vertical systems in the computer science program. So this will cover, again, 3 courses. like as Sudarshan was mentioning, security is again a very important topic in today's world. And cryptography specifically is the foundational basis for security. Without understanding cryptography, it is difficult to navigate the security world. So this course will give a good understanding of cryptography, uh, what are the techniques for encryption that provides confidentiality, what provides integrity, how do you design cryptographic protocols. Uh, After this, we'll also cover network security, which is again a very important topic where we'll cover a whole range of network attacks against networks, how do you defend against them, and so on. So this course actually will be taught by me. I'll be happy to take any questions on it later. The second course is database and big data system internals. This is actually will be taught by Professor Sudarshan, who is also here. Again, you know, these days, if you want to build any high performance application or you want to deal with very large data sets without knowing internals of a database or big data systems, it's near impossible to optimize or scale your system. So this is again a very relevant in real world, very hands-on course that will give you a good picture of how do you build such systems. Blockchains is another course in this bucket. So blockchains are essentially distributed ledgers, and it's a technology where you can implement them in a tamper-proof way while providing high level of security, and this is decentralized. So this is seeing a lot of potential in the finance and the supply chain ecosystem, and over time, I think it will see more use cases in that space. So this again gets into a lot of details. It covers everything needed to build these blockchains. Again, a very hands-on course. So systems in general, all these three courses will be not just theory, but they will also give you a good idea of how to build some of these things in a hands-on manner. So that is it, I think, from my end.
Great. Thank you so much, Professor Kameshwari. I'll move on to the next bucket and would like to invite Professor Sharath to talk about artificial intelligence and machine learning basket.
Hello, everyone. Once again, I'm Sharath Chandran, and today I'm talking about part 3, bucket 3, which is artificial intelligence and machine learning. As I previously mentioned, the top of the webinar, machine learning is a subset of AI. AI is a subset of computer science, and it's very important to also understand its linkage to the other two baskets to get really understanding of this field. So in this segment, C1 for the first term, will be the foundational mathematics for data science. I'll come back to this in just a second since I'm teaching that class. But I'll move on to working backwards, foundations of computer vision. As you might know, the revolution in artificial intelligence / machine learning kicked off with the AlexNet and basically trying to solve problems that was earlier considered infeasible. Essentially, a child can recognize persons, but the computer was not able to do that. But now we can do that. We can do face recognition very well. And the foundations of computer vision course is intended to challenge you with the fundamentals, which will help you to solve future problems, because we have just scratched the surface of computer vision. You might know, for instance, that the human brain has about approximately, depending upon whom you talk to, 60% of the CPU power, so to speak, is concentrated for vision purposes. Speech and hearing, for example, are less. Balance is another one. But so we have just scratched the surface of what is possible in computer vision, and the course on foundations of computer vision is intended to give you the basic understanding, the foundations of various elements which we can cascade and put together and help us solve problems for the future. Now, coming to C2, which is offered in the second term, starting roughly in the September-October timeframe. The course is on natural language processing and generative AI. Now, who has not heard of large language models? And the foundations of that is the earlier work on systems like BERT on natural language processing. Of course, we are what we are as humans because we are able to communicate, and we use language as a mechanism to communicate. This is not easily seen in other species such as fishes. Perhaps there is limited, we still don't understand how fishes communicate, but certainly the richness with which we communicate as human beings is because of natural language. And in this course, you will learn the foundational concepts of machine learning. Generative AI is of course the basis for generating answers to questions such as coding challenges that you might see on LeetCode and places like that. Now, computers are able to solve these, and generative AI is the part that makes it possible. Again, I'd like to stress what Professor Varsha mentioned, that this is a deep course. These are not courses that you can just casually pick up just reading medium.com and so on. And that brings me to the final segment, which is the foundational mathematics, a little bit broader in scope than just deep learning. We start off in this a little bit with statistics, traditional statistics, for you to be able to understand how humans make reasonings with a statistical background. But then we'll dive further into more complex topics such as foundations of transformers, which forms the basis for large language models, and of course, convolutional neural networks. But I want to stress that this course is not a course which will just let you just apply tools. Is after some time, when you start using deep neural network packages, you sort of wonder what's going on, and it's not satisfying unless you peek inside. And this course is intended for you to develop thinking principles, mathematical thinking principles, focused in this area of AI and ML. Of course, maths is the bread and butter for our understanding of the world, but this is focused towards data science, focused towards deep learning. I will answer more questions, but I think we're done on this particular segment, Mohit.
Sure. Thanks, Professor Sharath, for the overview. So with that, before I move on to the next section, thank you so much, all the faculty members, for providing a quick overview of the 3 course baskets and how the courses are stacked. And I think that helps us form a great understanding of the thought process that has gone behind the baskets and the way the whole structure is laid out. With that, we'll quickly move on to a short segment on what type of languages and tools are covered. While, as the faculty mentioned, the focus is definitely on the foundational aspects, and it is a concept-centric and a concept-first curriculum. But of course, for some demonstrations and from a learning point of view, there are some tools and languages which will be a part of the curriculum, like Python, JavaScript, CSS, C++, NumPy, SciPy. So these will help. These will aid the understanding part and also kind of help with the with developing the hands-on competencies. With that, of course, needless to say, the biggest attraction of this e-Postgraduate Diploma is that this has been designed and being delivered by the IIT Bombay CSE Faculty. And you heard from some of them, Professor Sharath, Professor Sudarshan, Professor Kameshwari, but overall, there are about 7 faculty members who will be delivering these courses over the coming terms. Professor Pushpak Bhattacharya, with research interest in machine learning, AI algorithms, Professor Abhiram Ranade, Professor Amitabh Sanyal, Professor Sudarshan, Professor Vinay, Professor Sharath, and Professor Kameshwari. You'll be learning from these faculty members across the across the upcoming terms, across different courses that they will be taking up. And needless to say, these are one of the best faculties in the country to learn from, which makes this ePGD one of the a great offerings. And we believe that it will be helpful to the candidates who are working professionals who are looking to upskill and add to their skill set and eventually move on in their career. And it'll also be helpful to freshers who are looking for a more structured, a more stringent learning journey to help them deepen their understanding of different concepts in computer science. And the fact that it offers choice across three baskets makes it a fairly unique offering of its type. And of course, this is an e-Postgraduate diploma from IIT Bombay. The certificate is it's equal to a PG diploma in every respect. The only difference being E, which suggests that it's being delivered in the online manner. It is an ePG diploma from IIT Bombay, which means that all the benefits associated with it come alongside. And Professor Varsha also mentioned about the fact that there's an on-campus graduation. Everyone who successfully completes all the requirements will get an ePG diploma and will be recognized as IIT Bombay alumni. Is something that comes along with the e-Postgraduate diploma that is being offered by IIT Bombay. So those are some of the things to know about as folks deliberate over this e-Postgraduate diploma. With that, I would like to invite Harish to also talk a bit about Great Learning, which is the EdTech partner for this postgraduate diploma in computer science and engineering. And we'll be working alongside all the candidates and we'll be interacting with them across different parts of the process. And I would like to invite Harish to talk more about Great Learning and our role in the program.
Thank you, Mohit. Welcome everyone. I'll be brief in introducing Great Learning and our role in the delivery of this program. But first, let me briefly introduce who we are as an organization. Great Learning, we've been supporting various universities around the world in helping deliver a variety of programs, degree programs, certificate programs, upskilling programs, primarily focused on working professionals, but we've worked with a range of people all around the world. Right? So we have learners from 150 plus countries, millions of people who have gone through our various learning programs. And a couple of things that we help ensure in these programs is a very high completion rate, a very satisfactory learning experience. And the way we've historically been able to do this is through a number of people that we've collaborated with as industry mentors who've helped either deliver or support the learning process. We work with faculty to ease their burden as far as the preparation and delivery of these programs is concerned. And importantly, we help guide learners or candidates who are interested in these programs, through the entire consideration journey, right? So for example, with all of you who are interested in this program, what we'll be working on is supporting you throughout the admissions counseling process, right? I'm sure you'll have questions starting today until the point you enter the program. You will have various questions, and we have a team that's going to try to answer all of your questions and guide you. And of course, if they can't answer it and need to reach out to the faculty on your behalf, they will do that as well. Subsequently, once if you gain admission and are a part of the program, our program managers, Dr. Varsha talked about support from program managers. So you will typically have a program manager who's going to work with you throughout your learning journey, right? And they will help onboard you onto the learning platform, support you through the online learning process, which is, it takes some getting used to, and they'll coach you through that whole journey. And of course, you'll have various questions and need a variety of different support through the learning process, right? As you take these courses, all the professors mentioned that this program will take upwards of a year, and they'll be there to support you through all of that as well. Through it all, of course, if you have questions, if you need any kind of support, either on the learning platform side of things, or if we'll be the conduit to the faculty, and we'll be able to support you through that. So I'll Yeah, I'll pause, Professor Sharath. I believe you have something to add. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to, support Harish in this venture. You might wonder, IIT Bombay CSE faculty, many of them ex-graduates from IIT Bombay or other IITs, equally prestigious IITs and or other prestigious universities in the world. Do we know everything? No, the answer is no. We really feel that, having working the last few weeks with Great Learning, this is a good partnership. So sort of supporting Harish in this mode. We certainly do not think that we know things beyond our limited areas where we have specialized, and so we do believe in working together. And I think this is an important journey for all of us to work together.
Thank you, Professor Sharath. Yeah, and equally, this is a trusted partnership. We've also worked with IIT Bombay and EO on other PG diploma programs. So so definitely have a good working relationship, and will continue to do so over the course of the program. I'll pause here. Mohit, back to you. I believe there are a lot of questions coming in about whether people can do it and are people eligible, and they have different backgrounds. But so before handing it over to Mohit, I believe so I'll just re-emphasize one of the our roles as Great Learning in this entire journey is each of you, the participants, will have a different background. Each of you come with certain specific areas that or professional experiences, and you will have questions on whether this is suitable for you, whether you qualify for this, and that's where our admissions counselors will talk to you. And Mohit, at the end of this presentation, will share how you can reach us. But so for individual qualifications and things like that, please reach out to us, and we'll be happy to counsel you through the whole process. For now, to go through the rest of this introduction to the program, I'll hand it back to Mohit. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thanks, Harish. Thanks for the Sharath. So quickly, I think this is something that a lot of candidates have asked, so I'll jump to it. In terms of eligibility criteria, so first of all, any candidate who wants to apply to this e-Postgraduate diploma needs to have one of the following degrees from a recognized university. Now, the first category is candidates who have either a BE or a BTech or a 4-year BS degree or an MSc or any other higher degree in one of the fields like computer science or computer engineering, information technology, artificial intelligence, data science, mathematics, and computing or equivalent disciplines. The idea is, category 1 is the candidates who have relevant experience in one of these fields, which is very relevant from a background point of view. And of course, there could be equivalent fields which are not listed here. So for those scenarios, as Harish mentioned, once you connect with the counselors, you can raise that query and we'll check back with the faculty. The final decision on equivalency will stay with the IIT Bombay CSE department. So we will get that checked and we'll get back to you if you're eligible in this particular criteria or not. The second criteria, especially for candidates who don't have a background in computer science or formal education in computer science or related disciplines, they can also apply, and the criteria for them are following. So they should have either a BS, which is either a 4-year BS or a BE or BTech or a higher degree in any engineering discipline, and supported by one of the following 3 criteria. So either they should have a qualifying GATE score in computer science or data science. If that is not the case, they should have at least 2 years of...
Again. Sir, when you click on the launch meeting button...
Hello? Yeah. So that, or I'll get back to the criteria. You should have either a qualifying GATE score in computer science or data science, or 2 years of relevant work experience in computer science, artificial intelligence, or data sciences. Or if that's not the case, then in your engineering degree or any other qualification that you have completed, you should have a minor in computer science or IT or AIML, data science or equivalent programs. Again, the final decision on equivalency, if the area is different than what is listed here, remains with the IIT Bombay CSE department. The idea is that if you don't have a formal education in one of these fields, then there should be some sort of a indication of the relevant prerequisites, because as all the faculty members mentioned, this is going to be a postgraduate level program, which means there's an expectation of certain skill sets that the candidates come in with, and and that can be demonstrated through one of these criteria if you don't have a formal education in computer science. The third criteria is for candidates who are not from an engineering background, if they've done an MCA with an undergraduate degree as BCA or an undergraduate degree as BSc, but mathematics as a subject. So those candidates are also eligible for the e-Postgraduate Diploma in Computer Science and Engineering. So that's broadly the eligibility criteria for this ePGD. And of course, feel free to reach out to the admission team, to the admission counselors, and they can help you pass through this. And if there are questions around this, as Harish mentioned, we'll check back with the faculty and get back in terms of where the eligibility stands. With that out of the way, I think we've answered a lot of questions around whether folks are eligible, those from CS background, from non-CS background. So moving forward, what's the process for selection? So step one is filling out an application form. So all the interested candidates can apply for this postgraduate diploma by filling out a simple online application form. This application form is available on the on the Great Learning website on the page for e-Postgraduate Diploma in Computer Science and Engineering. Once you have filled out the form, you'll of course speak to your admission counselor, and the next step is to take an online test. All applicants must take an online test to assess their foundational knowledge and suitability for the ePGD. This online test is broken down into two sections. One section is to understand your ability on the mathematical aspects and basic programming ability. And the second section is to test your knowledge on the relevant areas specific to the three courses that are being offered in term one. So there will be a subsection to test the prerequisites for the course on the Program Developers Toolbox. There's a subsection for cryptography and network security, and there's a subsection of questions to test the knowledge for foundational mathematics for data science. So in a way, the test is broken down into two parts. One is to check general mathematical and programming ability, and the second part will be to check the course-specific prerequisites. And after passing the online test, and if you cross the cutoffs, the applicants will go through a mandatory screening call with the registration office. And based on the score of both these things, if you cross the cutoffs, then the selected candidates will receive an offer letter, will receive an offer of registration to join the ePGD. And you will need to pay the registration fees to secure the seat and complete the registration. So that's how the selection process works. Now we will, we will take the question and answers. And of course, there might be a lot of points which have not been covered here. So for that, I would request you all to go through the link which is present on the screen. This is the program page for the program web page for e-Postgraduate Diploma in Computer Science and Engineering, and this should be able to answer a lot of your queries. Without further ado, I'll move on to the questions.
Yeah, hi Mohit. Sorry, Dr. Sanyal could not join in. We were not able to fix the technical issues. He has shared a couple of slides he wanted to present. So he just asked if you can.
Oh, now I have been able to join. I am Professor.
Okay, sir. Great.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Sure. So let me just quickly share the slides. Give me a minute. Daniel, can you see the slides?
I can see the slides. Yes.
Yes.
So shall I go over them?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is this course called Program Developers Toolbox. And the intention of the course is to equip students with tools that we assume professional developers use during their daily work. And what is important is that we also try to tell you about the conceptual frameworks that are the basis of these tools. Okay, so it's not merely usage, but also the underpinnings of these tools that we talk about. The course is divided in 5 parts. The first part is the Unix programming environment, where the first subpart of this is how executables are built, starting from compilation, which we touch upon, and then build scripts, make and the more modern CMake. And then finally, we talk about linking, something that is not usually covered in courses. Then we talk about how to automate tasks with bash scripting, thread, awk, and so on and so forth. And then once you write a program, there are going to be errors. So debugging using GDB. You might run into efficiency problems. So profile using perf, and then valgrind for finding memory leaks and stuff like that. Then the next part is managing projects. And the usual tools are Git for collaborative development and Docker for standardizing environments. Then the third part talks about languages. Yeah. So can you? Yeah. So we cover Python and its ecosystem, NumPy, SciPy for scripting, data analysis, and so on. And then there's this interesting language called Rust, which is memory safe. I mean, you can't do free twice. You can't use a freed memory. And at the same time, it doesn't require a garbage collector, but all allocated memory are actually freed. And it's very safe as far as concurrency is concerned. I mean, it's you don't have data races in concurrent programs using Rust. And then we do a full stack web development using Angular for the front end and the Python MySQL for the back end. And finally, the fifth part is, we are being slightly adventurous over here. So we are talking about, after all, people are going to use AI for programming. So we are talking about safe AI-enabled programming. That means programs are, generated using some LLMs, but they are not always correct. So how do we ensure the safety of such programs? So what we do is that we prompt LLMs to generate not only code, but also something called proof of correctness. Okay, so here is a program, and here is why LLM thinks that it is correct. And we verify these correctness conditions separately using something called assertion checker. So this is purely experimental. I don't know how this will go, but it's an exciting thing. So this is by and large the course.
Great. Thank you so much, Professor Daniel, for the overview, and apologies for the technical snag. Okay. So with that, let me switch back to the Q&A window, and I think we do have a couple of questions coming in. So I'll start reading those out. I think the first one is how does this program help people at various experience levels? Because I saw a question coming from someone with 20 plus years of experience, and then there's a question with someone, from someone with about 5 years of experience. So I would defer that to the faculty to answer on, what's their viewpoint on how this serves different experience buckets.
I'm just trying to see. Sudarshan, you want to go on that?
Sure. So BTech with 5 years, BTech in CSE with 5 years experience. That is the specific question, right?
Yes.
So I think this is a very good background for taking this ePGD. Is this going to help you in doing a PhD? I think it's a first step because it's going to expose you to the kind of courses we teach and will give you some exposure to research also, which is the first step to doing a PhD. And no, it's not equivalent to master's. However, there are some discussions, we can't promise anything right now, whether we can also have allow you to do more courses online and then get a master's degree of, we have something called Master of Engineering. So that is not yet decided, but we hope that there will also be a path to getting a master's eventually. But at this point, if you do the ePGD, then if you want to do a PhD, it's possible to join the PhD directly even without a master's. So that is not a requirement. If you're interested in a PhD, this could be a good way to get into the areas, get the background, and then decide to do a PhD.
I would actually encourage you to think in that direction. In some sense, there will be a good fit for this program. Without committing to a PhD right away, you are able to experience the flavors and then develop fundamentals. And then I'm pretty confident that once you get in touch with the faculty members, if a PhD is destined for you, it will happen.
Yeah. Thanks, Professor Sarat, for that one. I think there's also a question on how well this is suited for someone with no coding background. I think there's definitely a prerequisite on some of that, and if you're able to cross that, then I think this is suitable. But I defer to Professor Sharat to add to that one, depending on what's the coding background that is requisite for someone to start this.
Yeah, I would not encourage somebody without a coding background to take this class. There are probably many other courses available, perhaps on Great Learning platform or otherwise other places also. For you to develop this, keep in mind that this is a flexible program. So if you do your homework, you would be able to join the program, let's say not in this batch, but let's say 3 months from now. So I would suggest you follow that path. Now, we do have some questions on programming in the entrance test, but those are just flavors. They are not, that's not a proof that just because you passed that test, you are proficient in programs. Programming is a core part of any computer science, discipline, and I would encourage you to do something separately and then come back to us in 3 months.
If I may add to that, if you saw the requirements, either you should have an undergrad in CSE or you should have an engineering degree with a minimum of 2 years of relevant experience in these areas. So we are going to be teaching the courses with a certain background assumption. So it's important that you make sure you have that background before taking this program.
So can I add something to that? Can I add something?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So I think the person who wants to enroll for this course has a responsibility in judging whether the course would be suitable for him or her. I mean, the person should be able to cope up with the course, number one. On the other hand, he or she should be able to get something out of the course. I mean, if you know a lot, then maybe the course is not useful to you. And the point of opening up the contents and so on is to enable you to judge whether the course would be useful for you.
Got it. Thanks, Professor Samuel. That one. I think there's a question on whether folks can take 3 courses per term and kind of fast track the ePGD completion. I would defer that to Professor Sharat. Yeah,
I mean, if I were an eager beaver, then I would definitely consider that as a possibility. As Professor Varsha mentioned, you might have missed it. You must have time on your hand. Typically, if you go to a US university, you typically do 3 courses in a semester, but then you're probably doing some other research, a little bit of research, some bit of teaching assistantship. You're not a full-time employee trying to do 3 courses. I had that experience with as a student myself with somebody who was working in the industry and then taking classes by coming to campus and so on. It's very difficult to manage it. So therefore, if you have free time on your hands and you're motivated, sure. but don't try this if you. This is just a friendly advice. Of course, every individual is different, but that's my experience with trying to do 3 courses. But then on the other hand, on the flip side, if you do that 3 courses in one term and another 3 courses in the second term, you finished up with all your requirements for this program, and you're ready to get on to your next venture, whether it's a startup or whether you want to join the companies and be a productive programmer or AI specialist. So the flexibility, as Professor Usha mentioned in the beginning, is all there.
Yeah, thanks, Professor Sharad, on that one. I think there are a couple of more logistical questions which I'll quickly take. So, recording of this webinar will be available on LinkedIn as well as YouTube. You don't have to worry on that. In terms of the course logistics, the classes will be online, and the exams will be on campus, as Professor Varsha mentioned. So that's the fixed requirement for this ePGD. And I think there's a question on if someone who's based out of India can take this. Yes, you can very much apply for the program and check your eligibility criteria. As long as you are eligible, you are able to cross the the criteria set for registration. Can show up for classes because the timings might differ, and can attend on-campus exams. Things should work out, but I would ask Professor Sharad to add to this if there's anything that I might have missed.
No, I think that's definitely doable. We encourage you to do that. The time zones are something that you need to be worried about if you're not in India. The other thing is, as far as I know, and if I'm not mistaken, the schedule for the final exams will be published well in advance. So therefore, you should be able to plan your trips and so on. I believe only the final exam is an in-presence exam. So yes, so we have thought about it, and that's the flexibility that you have. There will be other exams, but those will be mostly online, if not exclusively online. To the best of my knowledge, they're all online. So only the final exam is on campus. And also keep in mind that there is a requirement that you must, and this is for everybody, that there's a minimum amount of marks that you must get in the final exam. So it's not like you can just wing your way through and do 100% on your online exams and then expect this. No, you have to come and make sure that you also take the final exam in person.
Yeah, I can add a little bit to that. Part of the reason we are doing this is so that when somebody graduates from this program, people who see this have a confidence that they have cleared the program on their own merit, on their own steam. There are other online programs where the exams are also online. And as you know, the trust in that is somewhat limited. So by having the physically proctored exams, we are giving the trust that the person who has cleared it actually knows that the subject and has learnt it well. And so from the subsequent employability viewpoint, I think this is very important, that this is a diploma which employers can trust. So that's the reason for that. So yes, of course, it means at this point that you have to come to India, come to Mumbai at this point. Now, extending that question, people from elsewhere in India, at least initially, will have to plan to come to IIT. If there is a requirement there's enough number of people who want to take this in certain centers, we could explore in future batches, not now, but maybe after the first year, we could explore options of taking the exams in other locations. But for this first year, it will definitely have to be in IIT Bombay.
Maybe first term, perhaps, maybe not necessarily first year. Yeah.
First term, surely, and you should assume that this will probably continue for the first year.
Yeah, thanks, Professor Sudarshan. There's a question on learning material, so I'll maybe quickly take that. For all those who are successfully registered, you will be added to Olympus, which is our learning management system, where the entire program will be posted and the classes will take place. The recording of all the live sessions will be present there. All the asynchronous material will be present there, and all the reference material as and when needed shall be shared by the faculty on the same platform. So that will be your one-stop, kind of destination for all the ePGD related requirements, be it live classes, be it asynchronous content, be it reference material, or even some of the quizzes as well. So all of it will be present on Olympus. Quickly moving on, I think there's an interesting question, and I'll again ask faculty to come in. Is kind of trying to choose between AI data science and then computer science, and what's the difference when people look at these two, because there are both the ePGDs present, and what would be faculty's advice for someone who's trying to understand both the areas.
I can take that.
Yes. Please go
Yeah, I mean, computer science is certainly a superset of AI and data science. You can say it's the field that is the birthing ground of AI. It's where it started, and that's why we continue to be the home of AI and data science. But obviously, all 6 courses are, if you wanted to really just only do AI and data science, obviously, this is not the degree for you. We have a breadth requirement. We do believe that much breadth is something that defines a computer scientist. Something in systems, something in theory and programming. So, I mean, I think it's a great choice. Of course, it's my department's ePGD, so I'm going to feel good about it. I think it's a great choice. For example, if you want to do AI and data science, you still do one really good course in, say, programming, in the programming basket, one really interesting course in the systems basket. We have big data, we have security, we have blockchains. There's very good choice there. And then, you can take up to 4 courses in AI and data science. Right now, maybe we have only choice of 3. In the future, the choice will increase. But certainly 3 courses we have right now. Even you can say big data and database internals is, towards, it's one side of the coin of AI and data sciences. So, I mean, I would say that it's a little broader and a more a person with this degree can do a lot. Each course is going to be deep. It's not that you're losing any depth. Each course is going to be deep enough, and still each of our AI data science courses are also going to be deep enough. So yeah, biased view, but I think it's a great combination, even if you want to really be an AI expert.
Thanks.
Let me
Yes,
just
please.
add to what Professor Varsha said, without taking away anything. Ultimately, you have to introspect. I think Professor Sanyal also mentioned as to where you better fit and how you want to see yourself 20 years down the line. So I think this is a key question. You may ask the question, why did you take computer science in the first place, right? So it's a question that you should introspect and think for yourself and your suitability. You heard a lot about how we pitch the courses. There are many AI courses out there, and therefore you want to see how this fits into your spectrum. It's all about your fit. You have to introspect on that.
Thanks, Professor Sharath. There's a question on sequence of courses to be taken. So I think one can only take courses which are being offered in a current term. And Professor Varsha spoke about how the courses are structured and how they are being offered. So A1, A2, A3, which is Program Developer Toolbox, Cryptography and Network Security, and Foundational Maths for Data Science are the 3 courses which are being offered in term 1. And so on. So one can only take courses which are being offered in that term, and then the other courses can be taken accordingly. So yeah, that's the option. I think there are a couple of questions on how these can be taken. So not all courses are being offered simultaneously. There's a fixed set of courses which are offered every term, and depending on your eligibility and the prerequisites, you can take the courses for which you are eligible in that respective term. So that should answer
I
the
may add
question.
to that, Mohit.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So as of now, the courses which we have do not have a prerequisite, in the sense that it is not required to take one of the courses before taking another of the courses. However, in future, we may have courses which have prerequisites from the other ones, in which case either you should do it in that order, or you should have done an equivalent course elsewhere and know the background. So as of now, the background required for each course will be explained to you, and there is a test which you need to take before taking the course. So that is how we verify that you have the relevant background for individual courses. But there is no need to do a course X before course Y.
Yeah,
Sure,
but
thanks.
on the flip side of that, I think the student or the learner is trying to see whether he might miss a course if he's not taking it in a particular term, and he wants to take that course after getting in. What are the options? So we will, the plan is, of course, to make these courses more regularly available. This is a launch, so at this time, if you miss out, let's say, Professor Sudarshan's course in the second term, it will be difficult to work backwards in time in 26 to try to take the course. But eventually, there will be an opportunity to do it. We're not saying exactly how that will work, but you will have the opportunity. And by the way, you don't have to take only 6 courses. You can take 7 courses. There's no problem with learning more, and especially if you're working.
Thanks, Professor Sharath. I think there's a question from one of the candidates, someone with MTech and about 11 years of experience. How can this ePGD be helpful? I think this has been partially answered, but if you'd like to add anything on that.
MTech in computer science?
I believe so. It's not mentioned. It just says MTech.
MTech in some other engineering. We have to assume that it's a MTech in some other engineering. It'll be great. It means that you have done some higher education. You are used to kind of going deep into an advanced versions of some subjects that you did in your undergraduate, and then you went into it deeper. So I think you're already mentally ready. You have done this once in your life. You're just doing it in another subject, and maybe in a subject where you have gained some practical experience from your job. It could be a great way to change. Maybe if you're in some other career right now, I think it will be a great jumpstart to some other career in computer science. But again, I would like to echo my colleagues who say that ultimately your background and the information is all out there. Professor Sanyal has also mentioned it a few times. The curriculum is there, the details are there, the structure is there. Please do go through all of those details. Everything else is just our opinion based on very, very partial data. Rest of it, you can decide.
As it so turns out, the person says he's having a MTech in computer science. So I'll just add to what Professor Varsha said, that computer science has also changed quite a bit. And so if you feel like that you missed the bus, then this should definitely help you, especially if you find stuck in your career. But again, this is a personal choice. You need to make this thing, make a choice for yourself. But since you said specifically of an MTech in computer science, I'm just adding this point for you.
Yeah, thanks, Professor Sharath, Professor Varsha. I think that brings us to the end of the questions, and we're also above the related time, so we'll probably call it an end, unless like the faculty members, if you feel adding something.
Mohit,
Yes.
if we just jump in, and this is just for all those that, there are lots of questions that didn't get answered, but having read through them, a vast majority of these questions are people's relating people's personal backgrounds and asking if this is suitable for them, right? And so for all of them, that is exactly why we have an admissions counseling team. So please reach out. and you can speak one-on-one to one of the admissions counselors who can help you evaluate if this is the right program, who can help you understand if you meet the eligibility requirements. And as Mohit mentioned, there are specific steps, right? So after you've spoken to the admissions counselor, if you take the online test, that will give you a very basic sense of, do you at least meet the bare minimum requirements of as far as proficiency in analytical proficiency and programming proficiency. As Professor Sharad said, that is necessary but not sufficient. That just helps you at least self-evaluate and gauge whether you're on the right track, right? Obviously, if you don't have any of even that background, then this program will feel you'll be completely underprepared for this program, and then it doesn't serve you either, right? So reach out to us. It's very hard to answer 20, 30 different individual circumstances on a group call like this. So reach out to us individually, and it'll be a much more efficient way to deal with it. So I'm just reinforcing that we've noticed you. We understand that you have these questions. We're not choosing to ignore you, but these would be better done in individual conversations. So please reach out to us. Back to you, Mohit. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much, Harish, for providing the clarity. With that, we will end this webinar. Thank you so much, all the faculty members, for joining in and sharing your, sharing an overview of the courses of the program and introducing the audience to the overall structure. We are very sure this has been extremely helpful to everyone who joined, and we look forward to meeting some of them as we go ahead in the process of the coming days. And thank you so much, all the participants, for joining in, for asking the questions, getting your questions clarified. We hope you got answers to most of them. And for anything that is left out, as Harish mentioned, please reach out to the admission counselors, and they'll help you with your questions around the ePGD. And with that, we will conclude today's call. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Have a wonderful evening. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye.